Hello and welcome to An Actor's Notion and to this video walkthrough of the entire system of how it works, what it is and how you can utilize it to take control of your acting career. If you've already bought this template, you'll know at the bottom of each page there is an embedded video walkthrough which takes you through a comprehensive overview of that page and what to do with it. This is going to be more broad brushstrokes, so forgive me if I move quite quickly. There's a lot to get through because it's quite a comprehensive system. It does a lot, but I think it will give you a nice idea of what this thing is and how you can leverage it. So here we are on the home page. A few things to say right from the very off. The top of every page is exactly the same. Up the top we have a cover. Now we can change this cover to whatever we deem it to be. If we click that, it just gives us some nice options already. But if we want something more specific, we can head to this tab that says Unsplash and search for something. So let's search for rainbow, let's say. Hit enter, and here we have some rainbows. Lovely, lovely. I'm gonna hit that. And here's a rainbow. If we want to move how it's positioned, we hit reposition. And then we can save position. There we go. So this is a nice, quick and easy way of customizing the system to suit your tastes and make it your own. Other things, up here, top left, we have embedded links to all the other pages. So this is the same on every page. It helps us navigate quite quickly and easily back and forth through the system. And next to that, we have the time and date, just to help keep us nicely located as to where we are in time and space. Next to that, we have our daily quote. These are all acting inspired or acting focused, and they will change automatically day to day. If you particularly like a quote and want to save it for future reference, we can select this little highlight tab. If we want to see all of our highlighted quotes that we've built throughout the year, we can go to this little view tab that says your highlights, hit that, and it will show us all the quotes we've highlighted so far. If we want to get rid of one, we just do exactly the same. We check that box and it disappears. If we want to go back to the daily quote, we hit daily quote. Nice and simple. Below that, we have a to-do list. Nothing new about to-do lists, but I find this really, really handy. So we enter our to-do, we put a due date, and it will automatically tell us how many days we have remaining. And then there's a status bar here. So when we log on, we can see how much time we have left to complete a task, or if we're past the task. So here, walk through rest of system. I've missed this by 3 days. So when I log on, I can see if there's any pressing information that needs my attention immediately. So for this, I would do walk through the rest of the system, which is what I'm doing now. It's currently in progress. Once I've done this, I can hit that and then select done, and it disappears. Obviously, if I wanted to create a new to-do, I'd select new page, test to do's. The date is today, so I've got no days left. There we go. Automatically tells me. Obviously, if this was later, just to prove that that automatically fills out. Look, we've got 5 days left now to do that. Not yet started. It's currently in progress, and done gets rid of it. Below that, we have our daily journal. We have a separate journal tab, which we'll go into in a bit, but this is just a quick way of writing an entry without having to go to that separate tab. So all we'd do is we'd navigate to the day, hit add an item, and then we'd select one of these prompts. It would auto-populate with a prompt and then we'd fill that out. Nice and simple. So I love this as a way of starting the working day. I see a nice quote to give me some inspiration. I can rattle through some to-dos or see what needs my attention, see if I have a bit of time and breathing room to focus on something else. And then I can quickly brain dump some information all from this homepage. So it's a nice way of paving the way for some good, solid work. And that work takes place mostly within the acting page. That's what we're here for. So let's navigate there now. Scroll up to the top. I'm going to hit acting. So here we are on the acting page. Now I built this system primarily for the acting trackers that we find within this page and the contacts section. They are two really powerful and incredibly useful features of this system. So I'm going to spend a bit of detail, a bit of time going into them. There's a lot there. So forgive me if I rattle through this. Hopefully it all still makes sense. So up top, as with the homepage, we have our cover, which we can change. We have our quick links back and forth. We have our date and time. Below that, we have our personal quick links. So we have a place to upload our CV, upload our website. That could be our spotlight, our personal website, our social media handles, and our headshot. This is really, really handy because if an email comes through or a casting comes up that I want to action, rather than trawling through folders and subfolders and is that my current CV? Is that my best headshot? Having them embedded here means it's as simple as drag and drop rather than searching through those folders or jumping onto the website, having to copy and paste the link. It just gives you more time to focus on what's important, drafting the body of the email, learning the lines, prepping a song, whatever it may be. It streamlines the process, takes away the admin section so you can focus on the artistic section. Below that, we have audition songs and ideas. So again, this is just another quick link thing. This is an embedded Spotify playlist. So I have made my own little playlist full of songs for auditions that I've done or ideas of songs that I want to learn in the future. Again, as an example, an audition comes through and they say, prepare a song in the style of X, rather than racking my brains and thinking, oh, what should I do? What have I done? What have I got in my arsenal? I can just scroll down here and see if there's anything appropriate. Again, takes away that resistance, takes away that effort, so it leaves me free to then focus on the execution of that thing. So there are all your personal quick links. To the left, we then have links to our acting trackers. We have our audition log, our show debrief, shows I've seen, and venues I've performed in. Before we enter into those, I'm just going to scroll down to this, the databases. So we can see within the databases, there's a few different tabs here. There's directors, movement directors, musical directors, casting directors, producer, writer, puppetry director, company. And this is an old mock-up version. Within the downloadable version, there's also one that says venues. So what's wonderful about the system and wonderful about Notion is you can share information across multiple databases. So rather than writing down, for example, a director within the audition log and then having to write down that director again in the show debrief and write it down again in the shows I've seen and venues I've performed in. It's very laborious, takes a long time. By having that information housed in its relevant database, so for example, directors, the audition log can then borrow that information from the director database. The show debrief can borrow that information from the director's database. The contacts page can borrow that information from the director's database. So they're all sharing and pooling information through that database, which A, makes it really easy for you, so you're not having to copy things across multiple pages. But more importantly, it means you can then see information from wherever you are in the system, which gives you a really clear and robust understanding of the network that you're starting to build. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's head into the audition log. So here we are on the audition log. As we already know by now, there's a cover, which we can change the image. We have our quick links, we have our date and time. And below is our audition log tracker. There's just buckets and buckets of information. Don't get overwhelmed. The information is really useful and easy to understand. This will be your own information. You'd fill out your auditions and the people you've met here. This is a mock-up version, so these are all fake auditions, fake directors, fake casting directors. My own personal version of this is 11 years worth of auditions. It's really in depth, really broad and exciting. And what's really good about that is I can now see tangible threads to pull at. But to not give away loads of personal information, I've made up these fake versions. So how this page works, which will also give us an understanding of how the databases works, is, say for example, an audition comes through. Hooray! We're going to scroll down and we're going to hit new page. And we're going to begin by selecting the date column. And we're going to say it's come through for tomorrow, which isn't great because, you know, the industry said it was going to change in the wake of the pandemic, and it clearly hasn't because we've got this tomorrow audition. Anyway, shade aside, we'd then go through and fill out all the information we have on that audition. So to begin with, we'd fill out what the production was. Let's think of an off-brand knockoff of the show. I saw The Years yesterday, amazing show. Go and see it if you're in London and get the chance. So let's call this The Decades. Wonderful. The director. Now you can see on director, casting director, company, and all the other ones down here, movement director, etc., etc. They have these little arrows. Now the arrow means they're related to a database. So all those databases we saw earlier, by inputting information here, it's going to be stored not on this page, but within the database. So if we hit director, so if the director is already in the database, we can just scroll down and select who that director is. If we don't want to scroll, because it's quite a big database, we can just type in, let's say it's Hugo Slate. There it is, I typed in Hugo and it's come up, Hugo Slate. We'll just click on Hugo Slate's name. And there we go, Hugo Slate, the director. Now what happens if it's a new director? Rather than having to go into the database to make that new director, we can do it all from within here. So we'll select director, and let's say they're called Judith Line. And it comes up, no results, so it has this option down here, new Judith Line in directors. So we can click create, and there we go, Judith Line is there. Now to prove to ourselves that it's been housed in the database, let's go back to acting. Let's go down to the databases, the directors, and let's scroll down to Judith Line. Look, there they are, already in there. And we can see that the related field has already auto-populated for audition log, the decades. Wonderful. The system works. So let's go back to the audition log because there's more we can discover there. So we filled out the date, the production name, the director. We then fill out casting director. Let's say it's Scene Smith Casting. Let's say the company is Scene Weaver. Great. We'd then fill out whether we've got a recall, whether we've got a debrief. We'd fill out all the other information, movement director name. Again, if we wanted to make a new movement director, Joseph Two-Step. We just hit new Joseph Two-Step movement director. The debrief is really good for our subjective artistry. We know within this industry it's really tricky because often it feels like you're waiting for someone to give you an audition and then you're waiting to hear yes or no. I find these debriefs to be incredibly useful because it gives me a super strong sense of autonomy rather than between auditions or before an audition thinking, okay, how do I do this again? And has turned it into part of the process, part of the growth of acting. What do I mean by that? Now we can see that I filled out a few of these mock audition debriefs. They're currently in this collapsed view. If I clicked on one, it would expand so I can see what I've written. If we wanted to have a fully expanded view, we'd come up to this top left again. It says compressed view or expanded view. If we clicked on that, then it gives us a full expanded view of this audition tracker. And we can see all of the audition debriefs laid out for us. This is really, really handy because this new audition has come up for the decades. It's tomorrow. My goodness, it's a quick turnaround. I can look at my previous few debriefs and see what went well, what went not so well. How did I feel? Was I trying anything new? Did it work? Should I try that again? If I can see in my past audition, I felt very flustered and a bit nervous. And for my audition before that, I didn't feel very grounded and fluffed a few of the lines. And my audition before that, it was something similar. There's a fairly strong pattern emerging. So what happens for this audition? Could I try something new? If I've noted that in the past 3 auditions, I felt a little flustered and perhaps not as grounded as I would like, then what happens if this time round, I try to arrive a little bit earlier and try a grounding technique? After that audition, I could then note down, did it work? Yeah, it kind of did. Great. Well, I can try that for the next audition and the next. And you start building patterns and growing your own process, not just within the work itself, but the audition work, because that's still part of this industry. It's still part of your process. So not only can you grow your acting process within the context of a project, you can grow it within the context of auditioning for those projects. Really, really handy. Other things to know about this is the prep material. We can fill out whether they provided sides, whether they asked us to bring a speech, what that was. The same way in which the linked Spotify playlist is really useful because we can go, oh, I can use this quite quickly. If we were in a situation where they say, can you bring a classical monologue? We can search through here for the audition that we were like, oh, that was really good. That went really well. I enjoyed that. What was that again? Find it. Boom. Good to go. Venue, really useful to note the venue. There's lots of research to confirm that recall and confidence within a known venue is better than unknown. So for example, revising the exam material in the room you're going to sit the exam in is better than revising it in the room you're not going to, because you're tying the outcome with the scenario, right? You can also visualize yourself positively succeeding within that environment, which there's loads of research to support that as a method. So as many of us will know, after a while you start auditioning in the same venues, the same rooms. If you note down what they are, an audition comes through, hey, it's at the Actors Church. Yeah, I know what that looks like. I can visualize myself doing the speech in there, visualize myself walking in the room confidently. Again, it's just little things, little bits of information that you can leverage to your advantage. So that, in a nutshell, is the audition log tracker. Whew, I said I'd do broad brushstrokes, but it feels like we're going quite in depth. I hope this is interesting and exciting. So let's now delve into the show debrief section. So we'll navigate back to acting and down to show debriefs. So similarly to the debrief for the auditions, this is just a more comprehensive version. Say you've landed the audition, congratulations, that's very good. This is just essentially you debriefing on the process you've just been on, whether that be for theatre, film, TV, whatever it may be. So we have the title of the show, the year, would reflect on the process, what went well, things you're trying, sticky points, really reflecting on the process, your understanding of acting, what you've learned from that. It really helps us continue to grow as an artist. And we've got another tab here that says things to focus on next time. So again, you walk into the next process, and rather than, I feel like I'm always battling against this, or I only remember this halfway through. By me looking at this and go, oh yeah, great, I'm going to try this time and see if that helps, see if it bears fruit. Again, it's accumulative, it's constant growth, it's journeying, it's you defining and redefining your own process. Other things to say about the system, audition team, this is linked back to the audition log. So say this was for, well, it says Mad About You. Okay, let's change that. Let's say that this was for the decades. There we go. And audition team, if we click that, it will link us to all the things we filled out within the audition log. So there's the decades, we can just click that. And that's really handy for us because it means rather than filling out all the information of who the director was, who the casting director was, we can just click on that and see all the information that we need. So for example, this is really handy because say we're a couple of years into the future and I'm drawing a slight blank on who the producer was for the decades. So let's click on this. It says the decades, let's click on that. So it'll open up in this side peek. You'll get this quite a lot, that instead of taking you to a full tab, if you're trying to view information within something, it'll open up a little half and half page. If you want to get rid of this later, you would just hit this button that says close and it disappears. So let's open it back up because I do want that information. So we've clicked on that and now we can quite easily see the information we're trying to search for. We haven't actually filled out our producer, so that's a bad example. But let's say we were drawing a blank on the casting director. We can click on this and we see it's Scene Smith casting. Great. Actually, I've seen a casting breakdown for Scene Smith recently. This is really, really good for me to know because now I can get in touch with them and I've got something more specific to talk about, or there's an in there. Now, if I click on Scene Smith casting, so by clicking on them, I can see all the other information I may have filled out about Scene Smith casting. So I can see I've auditioned for the decades. I've also auditioned for freezing with them. So if I wanted to refresh my memory on what that was again, it's quite a while ago. I didn't get that one. But who's the producer? Vivian Sharp. Great, music director was here. Here's my debrief. There's the venue was at Pineapple. So much information. This is you starting to build a really tangible web and network, which you can see the roads and the routes, see all this information. And by seeing the information, it's really easy to then action and grab a hold of opportunities. So us pooling all this information is really, really handy. Let's quickly go back to the trackers because there's two other things. There's the venues I've performed in and shows I've seen. I'm going to quickly rattle through these because I want to get to the contacts CRM. Alongside the audition tracker, the contacts CRM are the main reasons I built this system. And I think they're the two powerhouses of this. So I want to show you that in some detail. But for shows I've seen, this is for stuff you've not been in, but you've consumed. So this could be TV, this could be film, this could be theatre. We'd fill out the date, we'd fill out the show, where it was, your thoughts on it, and then filling out all this information, the director, the casting director, the producer, the company, the movement director, the music director, the puppetry director, the writer. All of this information is really, really useful to fill out because let's take a quick example. Director, Rex Shotwell. Remember that name, Rex Shotwell. Let's go back to acting. Audition log. An audition comes through. We know what we're doing. We're going down to the bottom. We're hitting new page. We're selecting the date. We're going to give ourselves a bit more time because actually they've got the memo about people living sort of stress-free lives. Production name. It's going to be called The Rat Trap. I don't know where I come up with these ideas. Director. Let's say it's Rex Shotwell. Wonderful. We fill out all this information. I'm not going to do it for time's sake. Let's say, for argument's sake, we haven't auditioned for Rex Shotwell before. Some of you will have noticed his name down there already. Ignore that. But say we haven't auditioned for him before. We could click on this name and go, okay, I've never auditioned for him before. I've actually auditioned for him quite a lot. For Hamlet on skates, for Hamlet on ice, for Hamlet in mime. The Affect, and now The Rat Trap. Wow, Rex is prolific. But say for argument's sake, we hadn't auditioned for them before. We could, by clicking on their name, then see we've seen 2 of their shows. We're aware of them. That potentially tells us something about their style, what they're interested in. We can click on any one of these, and we can see their movement director. This might be the same movement director as The Rat Trap. Again, pulling information, super, super handy. So that's very quickly the shows I've seen section, or things I've seen, if you want it to be about film and TV, etc., etc. We can really build a comprehensive list of people that we have worked with, people we have seen work, and therefore people we want to work with. Okay, very quickly, let's go to the final thing on the action trackers, which is venues I performed in. This is really handy just to keep a lovely personal database of where you've been. It's nice for the memories, but it's also really good for when we're moving about. Because often, as actors, we're not performing in the place that we're from. We're moving around to different regional venues. We're touring. So by having this, and I've toured a lot, this has been really, really handy because I can see the theatre, I can see the location, I can link the show as well, so I can see all the information about that. But any digs that I've really enjoyed, I can link here. Coffee spots, I can link here. Notable places, notes. It means that when a job comes through, hooray, great, congratulations. We know that finding places and planning your tour is great, but it's often labor intensive and it's currently unpaid, right? It's unpaid time. This has knocked that on the head for me. A show comes through, oh, I've got to relocate to Birmingham. I can look here. Yeah, I've performed in Birmingham before. Here's a link to the digs that I stayed in last time that I really liked. Click on that, see if they're free, boom. I know where I'm going, I know what to do. If I've got a big tour to book onto, I can go through and knock out some of these quickly and easily and know where I'm staying. Really, really handy, a massive time saver. So that's the venues I performed in section, but now let's move on to the contacts CRM, because this is a game changer. Now this thing is amazing. I don't know about you, but I dread reaching out to people. I feel anxious. I don't know when to do it. I don't know how to do it. I kind of want to run away and hide. Having this system has revolutionized how I reach out to people, because it essentially tells me when to do it and gives me all the prompts I need to do it in an effective manner. Often what I do is either ignore the whole thing entirely or get so involved in the acting process that I'm on that by the time I remember to invite people, it's already too late. By having this, it takes care of that business side in the background so that I'm able to focus on the acting side. But because this is still ticking away, it influences the artistic side, which hopefully then feeds back into the relationship side, which feeds into the artistic side. And you make this positive feedback loop. So I'll show you how it works. Here we have listed all of our contacts, and this could be people that you've worked with previously. It could be the people from the audition logs, so when you fill out all the information. It could be people that you don't know but want to know and work with. Same with the other pages. We'd go down and we hit new page and it would create new contact and we'd fill out the new contact. We're going to use an existing example. We're going to come up to Aria Flick. We can see we last contacted them on June 2nd, 2024. So next to last contacted, we have this status column, which says, currently, all of these say time to reach out because this is an old mock-up. I haven't been here in a while. But say we contacted Aria just this week. So say we contacted them on the 24th of March, the Monday just gone for me. It automatically changes to a thumbs up saying, we're good. We've only just got in touch with them. So this status is currently set to 80 days. So roughly 3 months. If I've contacted them within that 3 months, it's going to be like, you're good, you don't need to do anything. If it's elapsed that time, it will give me a little time to reach out nudge saying, maybe you should drop them a line. If you want to change that 80 days, there's a little handy cheat sheet of how to do it here. So you can change the formula as you wish. You can make it more than or less than 80 days. You've also got columns to say last update, so what you spoke about, their response. And then there's a bit that says invite specific. We'll come to that in a second. Having the last update and the response is really useful. We can also see versions of this if we go over to this side peek and click open. We can see, the last update comes there, the response. We can house any contact information. We've got their email, their telephone, notable works, and any notes. And we can copy and paste. I haven't done it for here in this mock example, but I found this really useful, email threads. Rather than having to trawl through, again, your emails. What did you speak about last time? They used this turn of phrase. They recommended this. I can put the date and just paste the email into here so I can see it all in one easy to digest place. This is really, really handy because it stops the emails and the mail outs being a general, hello, I'm such and such. Have you got a job, please? Which I suppose is the intention of often why we do this, but it's not great. What we're wanting to do again is build a reciprocal artistic relationship. And by writing down the information, you're giving yourself little cues as to things you can talk about. Then moving to New York, we said we'd meet for a coffee. I went to New York recently and I've got some really fresh tips of some places to check out, some really great food. Whatever it may be, you can approach this how you will, but it just gives you as much information. If you put the correspondence down here and you've spoken about specific work or anything, all great information to stop the email being generic and make it really specific to you and your relationship back and forth. So what does the invite specific section mean? Say we're in a show or have a film coming out and we've got a press night or a premiere and we want to invite them to that. We'd click this invite specific box and then in the show date, we would select that date. So say I have a press night on May 8th. Automatically, it tells me when 4 weeks out from that date is and 1 week out from that date is. So rather than second guessing, when should I email them? When should I follow up? When should I nudge them? It tells me exactly when to do that. I know that my press night's quite a way away. And this is really good for me because, as I say, often I get really involved in the process and forget to message people until after the fact. I can now focus on the rehearsals, but know that on April 10th, that's a month out, and I should send my initial email on April 10th. Then I don't have to worry about it until May 1st, which is a week out, and I can give them a gentle little, hey, because directors, casting directors, producers are very, very busy, as we all are. But if you email someone saying, hey, in 6 months' time, I'm doing this thing, the likelihood they're going to be like, I don't know whether I'm going to be free or how I'm going to feel in 6 months' time. So I found 4 weeks out gives them a little heads up just to let you know. And the week out helps you just gently guide them into committing to come. The reason why we've hit invite specific, because at the moment we've got this tab with all these contacts and it'd be quite overwhelming to look at. So if we know that it's for something specific, we can hit this view which says show invite and it shows us all the people we're inviting to shows and will tell us our times to mail out. There's the inclusion of a 2 weeks out. Some people might want to do a 2 weeks. So you've got a month out, 2 weeks and 1 week out. And right at the end, we've got an attendance column saying yes or no. Because obviously if they respond with either a yes or no, we can then cease chasing them, because there's nothing worse than them giving a response and then them getting an email being like, hey, do you want to come to this thing? And they're like, mate, what are you on about? I've already emailed you back. Stop bothering me. Now, just to further demonstrate the power and the use of these databases, let's scroll down to Rex Shotwell. Hopefully you've remembered that name from earlier, so I have made a contact for him. Here we go, Rex Shotwell. Let's click open. We can see, oh, Rex is the director. Great. So if we click this, it will show me everything related to Rex as a director. So it will show me the auditions that I've done for them. This is the link back to the contacts card that we've just come from. It will have any notes I've written down here, but also shows that I've seen. Really, really handy. So again, if I'm emailing them just from this page, I can go, oh yeah, I saw that, I did that, wonderful. But let's go back to the actual contact card. So the other really useful thing here is this page. Have they seen me in anything? Now, I think I might have skipped over this earlier. So just to demonstrate what that is in your show debrief. I can't remember if I did talk about this or not. So let's go back to the acting trackers. Let's go to show debriefs. So we're back on our show debrief page. So this is shows or projects you've been involved with. And alongside your debriefs, your things to focus on next time, the audition team, industry who attended, we'd write down everyone who came to see the show. Say you emailed tons and tons of people and you got an amazing response of lots of people who came. Boom. So Rex Shotwell came. We could say that Elizabeth Milton came. Someone else in the cast invited people. Noah Cutt came. Great. So now we can see everyone who's come to see that show that you were in. So we, from this view, can go, great, I need to chase up these people next time. Or back in the contacts CRM, say we've got a new show that we want to invite people to and we're going down our list of people to invite. Oh, Rex, great. Let's invite Rex. I can open this up and I can see, have they seen me in anything? The decades. Great. So I can reach out and I can remind them of that. Wonderful. So who else did we just put in that example? I think we put Noah Cutt. So on that previous show debrief page, on the industry who attended, we put Noah Cutt. So let's just prove to ourselves we open up Noah Cutt. Have they seen me in anything? They saw me in Law and Privilege. Amazing. But yes, they've also seen me in the decades. This system is so, so great. And you can leverage all of this information to keep you moving forward and to keep you building relationships. Now here we are on the dedicated journal page. As we saw from the home page, you can make some quick little entries there, but this is where everything is stored. We have our calendar view, which is really useful. What's really lovely about the calendar view is you can see yourself start to build little journaling streaks. I love writing, but I'm very hit and miss with it. This system has kept me really consistent because I've almost gamified it for myself. So within this, if we hit add an item, you have lots of options. This is a slightly updated version, so there's more options than you saw on the homepage, but this would be on the homepage as well. You have all of these prompts, from morning pages to travel journal to daily reflections to show debriefs. If we hit show debrief, as with every other journal entry, it'll give you some points of focus, some things to discuss or reflect upon. So for show debriefs, I'm on a tour currently, and I find this really useful, especially for a longer run, is I'll have a point of focus before the show, something to really invest in or investigate, to keep myself just trying new things, keep myself alive and in the moment. So I'll label what that is, and then post-show debrief, I'll then, how did it go? Did it work? What was I feeling? What was I discovering? What's really handy about this is I can then house this under any journal. So I can house it under personal, workout, show debrief, or travel. Say it was to go and show debriefs, and I've built up a plethora of show debriefs. If I come down here and hit show debrief, it will show me all the show debriefs. So fairly straightforward. Journaling is nothing new, but what I really love about this system is it's kept me really consistent, but I'm able to reflect very easily both on my personal life and my professional life, on other thoughts and ideas, and I can make my own sub-journals within this. So say I want to have a journal dedicated to random big thoughts or big ideas, I can make a new journal here dedicated to that and house anything under that. So I can quickly, again, like the book notes, like the contact information, so I can quite quickly navigate towards that and pick them out, find all this information, which keeps me very light and flexible to then engage within the art or the thing that I'm making or the thing I'm tinkering away on. So if you're a fan of journaling, you'll love this. If you're not a fan of journaling, I'm willing to bet that this will make you one. So here we are on the book notes page. Not a hell of a lot to say about this, but again, having information to hand. If you're reading, say, an acting technique book or some poetry or some literature or whatever it may be, you can write down any of the useful things you find here. So if you want to quickly delve into something, you can do, rather than having to come back to your bookshelf or what was that thing, trying to recall it. You just create, again, a new page and input whatever that is. Let's come to flow. So I've got flow here, the author, and I've housed this under personal development. But say there's something really useful that I wanted to share with a friend or whatever, I'd open this up and I've put all my notes here. That's essentially what the book notes bit is. It's nothing too flashy, but again, really helpful having all of that at your fingertips. Welcome to the film page. Now this is very different from the acting page. The acting page is dedicated to everything we're currently engaged with personally and professionally within our acting career. This is more for our consumption. So this is me watching a film or watching a TV series. You might be a film nerd and absolutely love this page and use it all the time. You may never touch it. It doesn't really matter. It's nice to have the option though. So all you'd do here is you'd fill out the film, whether you watched it or have it currently on the watch list. So when you're thinking, what should I watch tonight? Rather than spending hours and hours scrolling, and by the time you've found something, your food's gone cold, you can come to this and go, oh yeah, I haven't seen Gone with the Breeze yet. So let's watch that. You can fill out the director, the DOP, the screenwriter, all the information, the rating. Below here, the tier list just filters it. So if you need to recommend something or want to watch something you thought was very good, it would show you all your very good films here. If we clicked open, again, it would give us a bit more information. You could write down starring, your summary, your one-word summary, or your full review of the thing. This for me is a way of really keeping engaged with the film from an artistic standpoint, rather than just passively letting stuff wash over you. I'm getting to engage artistically with what I'm watching and again, find connections. Now again, this is different from the acting tracker, but say that your audition log, mine are very geared towards theatre. If you were in film and spending most of your time auditioning for film and TV, you would just change all this information or just view it through the lens of film. And therefore, this film tab would still serve the same purpose of it being more me consuming film rather than me engaging with the act of being a film actor. So hopefully that distinction is clear and you're able to use both as you wish. So that, for someone who said it was going to be a quick, broad brushstroke run through, is, I don't know how long this edit's going to be, but it's probably quite long, isn't it? But hopefully that gives you a sense of what the system is and how much it can do and what you can get out of it. I absolutely adore this. Like I said, I've made it to scratch an itch and a problem that I was having within the industry. It's really, really helped me, and I hope it does the same for you. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. Thank you if you've already downloaded it. Thank you if you're considering downloading it. Feel free to tell any actor friends about this as well. Hopefully they'll find lots of benefit from it. I love this industry. I think it's a wonderful career to be in, but it is tricky and there are lots of flaws with how it's run and set up. Hopefully, this just makes things a little bit easier and helps keep us moving forward towards all those goals and ambitions that we have. Good luck, break a leg, and I'll see you out there.